Yes, what's going on, people? Back again. 12 man's back. That means there's another panel debate show. And tonight it is about Gareth Southgate. We've got a big debate plan. We've got a panel debate plan. We've got some that are very sad to see him go. We've got some that are very happy to see him go. And we've got some that are absolutely elated to see him go. So we're going to get to it. Big up to Billy. How are you, sir?
On top of the world. I am on top of the world.
I can imagine you are. We'll get into it in a little while why you're on top of the world. But big up to you for coming on, my bro. Great to see you as always. Mate, it's an absolute pleasure again to get Tom Canton back on. It's been too long, my friend. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. It's good to be back on with you and to see some new faces as well and to meet the boys. So, yeah, it's very good. How are you?
Mate, I'm really well, man. It's always a pleasure speaking to you about football. Do you know what, mate? We might actually be all right tonight, Tom, because we're not talking Arsenal, so we're going to be talking England. So we might actually...
I think it will come up. I'm sure it will come up.
Maybe it will, bro. Maybe it will. Listen, big up to you, mate. Big up to D or the sad Southgate fan 2403. How are you, my bro?
I've had better days. It's still trying to get over the fact. I mean, I don't know what hurts more, the fact that the final or him leaving. But yeah, I'm still trying to get over it.
Why were Turkey there?
Huh?
Were Turkey in the final?
Nah.
Okay,
But
so what are you sad
Southgate-
for? Why are you sad for?
Southgate.
You're a Turkey fan, aren't you? You're a Turkey fan.
Southgate had to go through that again. Wait, first of all, why can't I be sad?
Because I know it's because you're being disingenuous.
Wow. I mean, within 2 minutes into the show, the accusations already started. I'm a very sad person. It's a sad day. It's a
You
national
look sad.
moment.
You look sad, D. I hope it's still raw, mate. You know, give it time. Joe,
Time heals everything.
how are you, my bro? Come on, Joe.
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, it's a sad day. It is a sad day. I think it's more frustrating because I've had to deal with people like Billy and D all day. This is the problem because people know that I've backed Southgate, so all I've had all day is just people winding me up. And what I'll never understand is that for me, right, okay, it's happened. People have got what they want. He's gone. But you're not even allowed to say thank you for the memories without people going, what memories? What have you won? And all that. It's like, relax. The guy's gone. Let him leave in peace. Be thankful for what he brings. You don't have to ram home the agendas at this point. You got what you wanted. He's gone, right? He's gone. So, yeah, and I am sad because I would have liked him to have gone out having won the tournament. And ultimately, we didn't get it done again. And you know, you can't get away from that fact. He couldn't get it over the line. But let's hope he's the man before the man. You know, like you speak about Arteta, the man before the man that might get you over the line. Maybe, hopefully, the next guy.
See, I told you Arsenal would come up, Dan.
No, but
3 minutes in.
This is true. But yeah, maybe it is. But I wouldn't bank on it. And do you know what I will say? And this might sound wild, but I'm backing Carsley. Now you're laughing. I don't know what you're laughing for. Shall I tell you for why? Shall I tell you for why? Okay. So Argentinian manager Scaloni, back-to-back Copa America's World Cup. Who was he before that? Nobody. Yeah. De La Fuente, who's just won the Euros for Spain, probably in with the shout at the World Cup. Who was he before that? Nobody. Right. I'm not convinced that these big name managers will first of all want to come to international football. I think the Pep thing's a pipe dream. I think the Klopp thing's a pipe dream. We might end up with a Potter. We might end up with an Eddie Howe. But you know what? Like, having thought about it, I thought, yeah, let's just give it Carsley, man. Promote from within, because it seems to work. It seems to work. But that's for another day, innit? We'll probably... Because my issue is we're going to get someone big, and it'll probably go tits up. And then I'll be the one with the fat cigar saying, I told y'all. Because, you know, it is what it is. Like, this is not the norm. This is what I don't understand. Like, and I'm not digging it, so I've got a friend, Ash, and Billy's the same, you know? So what I'll say is, you say, he's made me not enjoy watching international football. Well, that means you've never fucking enjoyed international football, because everyone before Southgate was a lot worse. A lot worse. Not getting out of the group stage, getting beat by Iceland. They were all worse. So if you didn't enjoy international football now, when did you? When did you? Like, genuinely answer me that question now. When did you last enjoy international football? Because I was 8-year-old in Euro 96. Billy, I think you're younger than me, so I don't think you've ever enjoyed international football, bro.
I think that's
These are the
a fair
facts.
thing to say.
Exactly. So this is maybe that's why I can't understand it. This is
But
why I
would
can't understand
enjoy
it.
it.
Pardon?
But I would like to enjoy international football.
Yeah, but this was enjoyment. This is my point. Getting to finals, getting to semi-finals, getting to quarter-finals is enjoyment for England fans. People don't want to hear it.
Doing what Spain have done is enjoyment.
Yeah, but we're not Spain, bro. We're not. This is the point, Billy. This is where we have to check ourselves before we wreck ourselves. We have to remember we're England. We've won one World Cup. The next time we play in the World Cup, that'll be 60 years since we've won something. Do you know what? Spain won their 4th European Championship. Italy win things. France win things. Argentina win things. Brazil win things. They have a right to complain. We win fuck all. And them's the facts. The last time we won something was 1966. And when we play in the World Cup in America, that'll be 60 years. 60 years. People will have died in that time. People have died in that and never seen anything. And all I want as an England fan is to see my nation win something in my lifetime. And I'm not convinced it's going to happen. I thought it was close. Look, we've got a great crop of players. I get it, right? But I'm just not convinced. I think this is the way. This is the England way, unfortunately. This is what for all the bad things we've done in earlier life, I think this is the way, unfortunately. We just don't have the minerals to get it over the line. I don't think we do.
Let me bring in Billy because you got a lot of heat, Billy, from a lot of people because you've never been a fan of him. You don't like him. You don't like the style of football. You've not been supporting England pretty much because of that. You didn't really care because let's be real. I know that with Spain, you lived in Spain for how long now?
9 years.
Right. So you were quite happy when Spain won as well. I know you've obviously got a bit of. I don't actually know who you wanted to win, Billy. I can't lie. But what did you make of the Southgate reign?
A failure, in my opinion. I understand what Joe's saying in regards to getting to finals, getting to semi-finals and things like that. It's never really been done before. And I get what Joe's saying, as in he's given him so many good memories and things like that as well. I get it. But ultimately he's come out with nothing. We're in a time now and over the past 5 or 6 years where we don't have Spain of 2010. We don't have all of these amazing nations around us. While they've dropped off it heavily in quality. You talk about the Germans. The French are the only team, really, that have maintained quality throughout. And they've got a World Cup to show for it and a Euros to show for it as well. Did they win the Euros in... No, they don't have Euros, sorry, to show for it when under Southgate. But even still... pardon me, sorry. But all of these nations that we're up against at the minute and have been up against under Southgate's reign aren't quality like they used to be. This was the time to win it. These past few years have been the time to win it. Do you know what I mean? It's and that's what. Well, yeah.
I don't know what you mean. No, can you explain?
I think what it is, Joe. I think what it is because you're a Leeds fan in the Championship. Success for you, lot is kind of different.
Bro. You can't listen. Wait. You cannot chat to me about winning things. And I'm in the Championship, yeah, right. But you still can't chat to me about winning things.
No, but your mentality, I feel like Leeds have kind of got on. I feel like you've just been Leeds out because you count success.
Leeds out? What does that, mate? You've just said I'm Leeds out. What does that mean?
Yeah, I feel like Leeds are just taking over your life because when you talk about success. For me, success is in general.
You're talking shit now, bro. You don't know what you're saying.
Success is winning stuff.
Steve waffles at the best of times. This is on another level.
Actual success is actually winning stuff.
Right, when was the last time you won something, D?
No, but this one.
No, answer me that question, bro. When was the last time you won something?
A quarter of it on Sunday.
2013.
What? The Championship?
Yeah.
So are we counting that as success because we won it back in 2018? So therefore, we're more successful than you.
Palace haven't been that successful.
Well, there you go. So you can't chat to me, can you?
No, but I can because
okay, go on.
For you, maybe I can admit that Palace haven't been successful, but for you, I think mediocrity is what you're into now because of what Leeds have been going through. For example, for me, success is actually winning trophies. That's why Palace haven't been that much of a successful team because we haven't won.
We don't win. Yeah, you don't win. Yeah.
But for me, when you look at this lineup, Harry Kane, which we talk about £100 million worth player, Jude Bellingham, same, Phil Foden, Saka, Declan Rice. There's John Stone. There's quality players. If you look at the bench, there's Tony there. There's Cole Palmer there. There's Watkins there. This England team has had the players, but let's be real. England will never win in this tournament. You might have thought that, but England will never win in this tournament. And
that's not right. It's not right to say that, though, D. Come on.
It's not down to the players. It's down to Southgate. Let's be honest. England were mediocre in the group stage games. England should have.
Yeah, they were bad.
Knocked out against Slovakia. The first shot on target was that goal by Jude Bellingham against Slovakia. And why is that? Why are some of these players, Phil Foden, for example, why can't he perform at international level, but at City he can perform to?
But bro, we've been having this conversation for decades. Same with Gerrard, Lampard. This is the England way, bro. That I don't think a manager is the.
Say England way, but
it is the England way.
It's not about England way. It's not about.
So what's it about then?
This England way thing is an easy thing to say. Oh, it's England way. We don't win stuff. It's England way. No, you will win stuff. You will win stuff if you have a manager that's there that is capable of just basic. All he has is the basic principles and the basic fundamentals, which is good man management. That's all he has. In terms of
which is a big part of international management, by the way.
It is. But when it comes down to the tactics, he's clueless. That's why he hasn't won anything. This England team under a different manager would have 100% won something.
I think that's the point.
Can I just respond to that though? Okay, I think this.
Let me say one more
yes, go on, mate.
And you can respond. Southgate is not a successful England manager. If you say success is because he's done better than the previous manager, Roy Hodgson, and that's a success, then my perspective of success, your perspective of success is different. I think Southgate is the most competitive manager since England have won World Cup. But you can't say successful because he's had no success in terms of winning stuff.
Okay. And that is the way you look at things, and that's fine, right? It's not as binary as that for me. Like, for me, I see success as getting to the latter stages of competition because I can see improvement, I can see progression. We now belong at the end of tournaments, whereas previously that was never not the case for me. So that's success. That's what Southgate's brought me. Like, that's what he's made me believe again. He's actually made me enjoy the players. I couldn't stand the previous, the golden generation. I couldn't stand them. I actually like these lads that are going on. I think that sort of stuff and can't be downplayed. I think personally, anyway. I think there's a lot to be said for that, and also this tactics thing, right? Yeah, the Italy game in the Euros in 2021, whatever, the home tournament, I hear it. And look, I'm not going to defend the fact that prior to Spain scoring, he was looking to bring on Trippier and Conor Gallagher, right? Theirs were the subs. Them two were ready to came on. They scored. He didn't bring them on. Why was he doing that? Well, he was obviously going to try shut up shop, probably play for penalties at that point. We've got another, extra time. There was only about 5 minutes left when them subs were coming on. Right, that's his way. That is his way. That's his defensive tactics, whether you like it or you don't, right? But during the tournament, we improved. We weren't better than Spain. I thought the first half actually tactically was good. I thought it was good. Like, I don't know if any of us expected us. In my opinion, I don't think anyone on this panel expected us to go all out against Spain. If we're honest, we were going to contain them. I think that was always going to be the plan. And Rodri came off. We're thinking, right, buzzing. And obviously, we got caught napping. This score. Then we get back in it. And again, the right side. I mean, how Walker's in the team of the tournament is beyond me, because he was arguably one of England's worst players of the whole fucking lot. Anyway, but he switched to a back five during the tournament, which worked. He made key substitutions during games that got us back into games. Now, of course, people say that's reactive. I hear that, but that is his style of management, right? You might not like it, but I just think to say that he's tactically inept, it's a little bit unfair, I think. In certain games, yes, but I also think in this tournament, he actually did a lot of decent things,
he's been
personally.
There 8 years, Joe. He's been there 8 years.
He has.
He's been multiple tournaments. He's been with some of these players.
And do you think
why did he start the tournament? Why did England start the tournament looking like Southgate just being there and it's his first tournament there? Why has the Spanish manager come in and in less than 2 years hasn't played?
Let's not do that though, because he's been at all levels all the way through, so knows you Yamals, knows you Williams, like De La Fuente's known them all, so that has to count for something.
8 years, he knows all.
No, I agree with you,
Dick. You should be knowing these players. Some of these
I agree with you.
Went in England itself. Some of these players have grew through Southgate in England itself.
I agree.
So there's no excuses there. He's been there 8 years. England still tactically, when you look at some of these players, they look clueless. some of these players shouldn't even be playing, and he's still playing them. For
Who?
me, you can't say Southgate is a good tactic.
Who shouldn't be playing? Who shouldn't have been playing? Who shouldn't have been playing?
Kane,
Huh?
Walker,
Walker
arguably Foden.
shouldn't be played. Trippier
I think-
at times shouldn't be played. These are basic mistakes.
So, can I just get on this Walker thing, right? He was shit, and I agree with you. And he had a he had a poor tournament, right? He was shit. He was. But all of a sudden, like, Trent's become the best defender in the world again. Like, he can't defend, can he? That's what everyone tells me. But everyone's saying Trent should have played, but he can't defend. So would he have done better? I don't know. It's just always something. Harry Kane, I get the Harry Kane thing, but for me, you can't drop Harry Kane. You can't drop him. He's England's all-time leading goal scorer. I think it's very any manager. Well, he clearly felt like he was though. He was.
Don't play him in a nothing game in the last game of the
Maybe Bill, but
stage.
What I would say is every single England manager previously used to do the same. You know, we get Owen Hargreaves in, or we get Carrick in, they play well,
maybe that's why we
and
don't
then
win
Lampard,
anything.
and then Lampard had come fit. Lampard or Gerrard would be fit, and they'd be shoe on straight back in, and we'd look shit again. This is what I'm saying. It's not too dissimilar of what's happened in the past. That's why I don't understand, like, how everyone also like seems to think that it's all just going to get better. I can already see the picture. I can already see us going to the World Cup in America and not even fucking getting out of the group. I can see it now. And everyone will be like, oh, yeah, we played well. Right, okay.
I don't know why people would feel that way, Joe. Because England are still going to have the same players and are going to still have one of the best squads in the world available to whoever coach picks up the baton. I understand the whole transition, and we don't even know who the next coach is going to be. We might come on to that later. But like on Southgate, I think if you'd have said to me, if say you had some crystal ball and said when he took over he's going to get to 2 finals of 2 European Championships, I'd have been bloody hell. That's brilliant. Like considering where we were as a nation, what we've done in international tournaments, unbelievable. But the thing is that I've lived through those tournaments, so I know exactly what happened throughout them. I know exactly the teams we played. I know how we played in those tournaments. And I know that despite the fact that he's been the most, I'd say, I know, D, you've got an issue with the word success with this, but I don't think there's much wrong in saying he's been the most successful England manager since, 1966. So I think he has been the most successful manager since 1966 compared to all that have come after that. Of course, if you don't define success as anything other than winning trophies, then you wouldn't say he has, you would say he has technically failed. But I think it would be unfair to not say he's been the most successful manager since 1966. But I think that we have still underachieved under his tenure. I think if you look at, the Euros in 2021, our lead up to that final was very favourable. And then we come up against an opponent who we go 1-0 up against and sit back. And that's been the story of Gareth Southgate's tenure, is this kind of, you brought it up earlier, how reactive he can be rather than being proactive to try and win games and take games away from opponents, and with the quality available to him. That's ultimately what we should have been doing for a very long time with the quality in this squad. And then you go to the World Cup. It was difficult against France, and obviously I had that Kane penalty gone in. Who knows what would have happened in that fixture? But again, the performance wasn't throughout that tournament particularly inspiring. And then you go to this current tournament, where we've arguably got the best iteration of the England team that we've ever had in, certainly my living memory, to a degree, in terms of depth of options. I know that back in, the 2000s, you could talk about the starting 11 that was available to the managers we had then, but the depth of the quality in this group and the fact that we've left some players back at home who certainly arguably should still be in this squad and could even be knocking on the door of the starting 11 shows the depth that's available to Southgate. And this is where Dan Arsenal may come into this, because I think that Arsenal and England are actually 2 really good case studies in terms of what the difference is between 2 squads, 2 managers who haven't got it over the line, but where there's a difference between the 2. Because I think that where England have underachieved, where they have got to has been arguably in some degree in spite of Gareth Southgate's management. Whereas I think from an Arsenal perspective, Arsenal have re-entered the title race for the last 2 seasons and look far more competitive than they ever have in our recent memory, because of Mikel Arteta, not in spite of him. And I think that's the difference perhaps between the 2 sides, and why a change of manager for England is right, and why England should look to go and bring in a coach who can get the best out of the biggest personalities. Whereas obviously why we would rather continue right now with Arteta at Arsenal.
Let me come in because I've got a couple of
I wanna
questions,
ask-
right?
I
And
wanna
I
go
agree
back-
with you, Tom. I agree. I think that's a really way you've put
Yeah,
that.
it's a
there.
good point. It's a really good one.
I think it's a really good point.
Can I also
Let me
jump
just
in
ask
about
Joe
success?
though, because 1 second, D. Let me just ask Joe a question because my thoughts are very similar with Tom. I think Gareth Southgate has got us to these finals, and I would argue that a better manager would have won us at least one tournament out of the 4 that he's been a part of by now. That's my argument. I can't say that for be a fact because, of course, we would have no idea if that is to be the case. Now, we have to be realistic about who we're going to get. I know, Tom, off air, we were talking about potential for who might be taking over. I think the more realistic options is a Carsley, a Lampard, a Gerrard, a Howe, a Potter. I don't think a Jurgen Klopp, a Thomas Tuchel, even a Pochettino, or certainly a Pep would actually be the option.
I don't want Poch, by the way, because
Right.
he's known for not getting teams over the fecking line, for God's sake. So it's the same thing. Sorry,
Yeah.
Dan, go on.
Yeah, no, and there we go, and that's fair to say that. But I do feel like everything that you've said, Joe, in terms of this is what I believe the tactics wise. I think you're spot on for what he's done, but I don't necessarily agree that it actually has worked to what might have been able to. I can't think what I'm trying to say here, but for example, the substitutions.
I hear you.
Watkins was a really good substitution, but it was far too late. Tony was a really good substitution, far too late. We had the Cole Palmer, who, let's be real, was probably one of our players of the tournament, and he didn't even bloody start. And he was not coming on with nowhere near enough minutes for me. The style of play thing is not really a massive problem for me because there is a style of play. I can see a style of play. It's not like we're 8 years down. I still don't recognize the style of play. I get what it is. I just don't like it. It might have got us across the line to certain games, but it hasn't got us across the line to do that. And that is where my doubts are with Gareth Southgate. I also don't believe that a manager with that amount of talent should be having less XG than Croatia, who went out in the group stage. That's inexcusable for me. Right, that's just not excusable. So
yeah,
that's where I'm at. So my question to you, sorry, Joe, is going to be: Do you believe, like I do, that a better manager would have won us a trophy by now? I know you can't say it, but do you believe that somebody would have got us across the line?
You know, so look, and someone checked me who watches my channel earlier on, and they're right. And I said at the start of the tournament, if we don't win it, it's not good enough. He needs to win it because of the squad that we have and all that sort of stuff. I'm not hiding from that fact. I think my main defence comes to the amount of disrespect that he gets. But I do agree with you. Look, at the end of the day, there isn't a distinct style of play that sees England create and carve open chances. Ultimately, during this tournament, we've been moments, haven't we? We've been like moments FC. You've had the Bellingham moment, you've had the Watkins moment, you've had the penalty moment, you had the Cole Palmer moment off the bench. Obviously, we end up conceding. But when that Cole Palmer goal went in, I was thinking we're going to win it. We're actually going to do it. I can't believe it. But you are right. You know, I'm not coming away from that fact. It's like when people go to me, would you have him at Leeds? That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying he's an amazing manager. I just think he deserves a lot of respect for what he's done, and he doesn't get enough of it. Now, back to your question, we'll never know. But yeah, like maybe a manager that had look, at times the players didn't look like they knew what they were doing, did they? Do you know what I mean? At times, right? And if there was a distinct style of play, then they would revert back to that and continue to carve open chances and stuff. And you're right, we didn't create enough, but yeah, I just hate the whole he get lucky and all this sort of stuff. You create,
He was.
But bro, you create your own luck. You create your own luck. It's right. But what I would say though, D, is it Gareth Southgate and England's fault that the other big teams didn't top their group?
No. Let me ask you this question. If luck is involved, then how on earth are England in the finals of the Euros with XG less than Croatia, who got knocked out by the group stages? It is luck. It is down to the players. It's not
moments.
Southgate. If Southgate was a
creating moments.
If Southgate was a half decent manager with his tactics, England would have created more chances in more games.
Yeah.
But the fact that they didn't over Croatia says everything. But this ain't a surprise because we knew this before the tournament started. For me, I also want to quickly mention about the success thing as well. When I talk about Southgate isn't the most successful manager, I say in the context of the squad that England have. For me, that success for England should be winning. Because I don't think, maybe because it's because of Southgate, because of what's happened in the past, But I don't think we realize how good this England squad is. This England squad is very good. It's got some very good players who we can count in one hand, not even two, in one hand, how many of these players played good in this tournament. Now, I've seen it firsthand. We've all seen it firsthand in terms of the manager and the impact that managers have on players' performances at club level. A manager can have massive impact on performances. So based on that reason, I feel like Southgate didn't get the best out of these players. We've seen these players play at club level, and they've been fantastic for their club level. But in this tournament, at international level, there were far too many players playing bang average who we count as world class. And to me, it wasn't a shock. It was once again Southgate being in charge. He's a very good manager. I'm not saying he's done a terrible job for England. I think he's done a good job in terms of bringing the fundamentals back, which England needed because there was so many politics involved with the previous squads. But for me, he's not a successful England manager because success with this group of players that we all hype about, unless we're all wrong about some of these players and their talents.
So which only this tournament though? What about the other tournaments?
I mean, the other tournament is not a success as well. The Qatar one wasn't a success because he should have won.
Right. So what about? I showed you the team that he had when he first came in, bro.
Oh, what tournament was that though? You just showed me. You just showed me a team.
So
lineup.
his very first lineup. It wasn't even a tournament, to be fair.
Exactly, he wasn't a
very
tournament.
first
Exactly.
Yeah.
But for me, throughout Southgate's period, from
all of it, we should have been winning it all. Lingard, Lingard, Dele Alli, Jordan Henderson, Gary Cahill. Cahill was at Palace then, so he was probably world class, I'd imagine.
Yeah, the 2018 World Cup was one thing. He was given that and to steady the ship. And to be fair, he did that. And for me, that's when he should have gone, and a better manager should have came in.
In Italy,
look at this, the 2018, the 2018 Russia.
So he gone then.
In my opinion, that's what I wanted.
Okay.
We gave him the 2020 World Cup, and you look at the squad that he had then and the players, and that's where I believe you can start counting what D's saying, if you know what I mean, because of the players that we had. The quality of the other nations that we were playing. It was a home tournament, this, that, and the other. And I think from then on, I can completely understand what Dee's saying. So I think from Euro 2020 is when you can look at that metric, if you don't.
Do you both like Southgate?
I was going to ask, can we ask you two a question?
No. Can I quickly say something as well? It's not just Southgate, by the way. The FA hold a bit of blame as well to this.
Yeah, they do. Yes, they do.
Exactly. No one talks about this. But Southgate, apparently, after the Qatar World Cup, they convinced him to stay. Now, the FA, I felt like, just got comfortable with Southgate being there, of course, because he has had positives. I'm not saying he's been completely terrible for England, but I think his man management's been good. Like, he's built up connection stuff. Maybe FA kind of put their hopes on that. But the FA, if they realized the potential of the squad and the talent of the squad, they would have changed managers. But they just didn't. They've been in their comfort zone. So I think for me, not enough talk also gets mentioned about the FA, because I think the FA have a bit to blame in this.
Well, it's worrying that they'll choose who takes over as well.
Yeah,
exactly, and that's worrying, Tom, because if they're going to go with Carsley, I know what Joe's saying. Like, I'm going to back him and all that. I get it. I will back him, of course, until I see him kick a ball and see what the style of play is, and get him to actually come on to some of these stations and actually talk about it and understand the philosophy, if it is going to be him. But I just cannot get behind someone who I just don't have the experience in. Big up to Pete, man, calling in from his holiday. How you doing, bro?
Come on, tell him, Pete. Tell him, Pete.
I can't hear us.
Brothers. Easy, brothers. Look, I don't know how long my signal is going to last for, so I apologize. Big up to you boys.
Are you in Spain?
Chat. Hope you're well.
I won't celebrate the winning too much. Where are you? Are you in Spain? That's not Newcastle. I know that for a fact. Newcastle ain't that nice. Where are you?
You know what? Like, I'm not gonna lie. I can't hear what you're saying because everyone's
Greece, I think.
Everyone's going mad right now. But like, I'm in Greece. Like, it's like near midnight right now. Like, it's all good. It's all good. But look, I had to wade in on this England chat, man. I don't know what you guys have been talking about, but come on. Give me the lowdown. Give me the lowdown so I can give a little summit before.
Joe, do you want to sum it up? Joe,
no, Pete. Just you tell us your opinion on the Southgate era and like how you feel about Gareth Southgate.
Joe, I think me and you are in the same bracket.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it, bro.
Like for me, for me, I've been a staunch supporter of England for best part of 30 plus years. Like, I was lucky enough in like from 2004 up to 2006, 2007, before I went to uni and all those things. I'm an older cat in here. I went supporting England up and down the country. I was lucky enough to go to a World Cup in 2006 and support England. I'm a big England fan, and I've watched them for years now, and I've seen so many disappointments. I've seen so many managers that have been tipped to bring us the greatness and not quite even got us there, not even close. And managers that are better than Gareth Southgate. So the fact that he's been able to get us to 2 Euro finals, a semi-final in the World Cup, a quarter-finals in another, for me, like he has done a fantastic job. It hasn't been the one that we wanted, which is the all-important winning us a major trophy. But nobody's done that since 1966. So I cannot be angry or mad at that. I'm gutted. I'm heartbroken as a fan. But I can't be mad at that because there's been many a good manager gone by before that hasn't done the same. So for me, I'm sad that he's gone because, look, for me, let's not forget, in 2018, he brought England fans, the media, and the players together. The reason why we sing Looking Back on when we first met, the reason why that song came about is because he brought us all together. He brought us together as a fan base, as a country, as a nation, as a group of players, and the media, all the rest of it. We cannot forget that. We cannot ever forget that. But after everything, it's time for a fresh approach. It is what it is. Everyone has a cycle. He's done a great thing for England in bringing everyone close together. He's brought us closer than we ever have before to winning something. But it's now time for someone to take the mantle.
Like Eddie Howe,
I don't
like
agree
Eddie
with all
Howe,
the
yeah.
hate. Let's not go there. I don't want to hear the hate. I know there's probably some in the chat, some people on this panel that are very much happy today that he's left the post. But I don't get the Southgate hate. Yeah, maybe style of football or the rest of it. But for me, I'm a fan that let's appreciate what he did for England rather than let's critique all the little small details about it, because he's done far more good than he has done bad, in my opinion.
You know what it is? You know what I've realized? I think it's the older generation that appreciate it more than the younger generation with Southgate because of the miseries that you lot have had to go through. Mm-hmm. I genuinely do think that. Maybe
yeah,
that makes sense.
Of course it is.
It kind of makes sense because
my dad hates him still.
What was that?
I said my dad still doesn't like him.
Yeah, but you are a different breed, man. The Billy household are a different breed, man. Too many sangrias. Too many sangrias, man.
That doesn't go with my sample plan. But it might just be that because for me, my standards are high when it comes to England, because I think England should win with these group of players. And for me, even when you look at the tournament, yes, England got to the final, but it's just how England got to the final as well. Like, you just knew it wasn't convincing. From the group games to the knockout games. I know he changed it up. Maybe the Switzerland game was a bit better in a certain half or so, but just throughout the tournament, it wasn't great. It was another tournament of Southgate getting the easy route, because that's part of the context that happened in the last Euros as well. Getting an easy route, and when it comes to facing the top teams, he failed once again. How many times has he beat the top teams? I think 7 out of 48. Is that the stat? And that's not a surprise, because we all knew this anyways. We all knew what was going to happen on Sunday. Well, no, yeah, it was on Sunday. We all knew what was going to happen, that England were going to lose, because Southgate, historically, is not great against facing good oppositions. He always gets the easy routes.
Let me before I let Pete go, because I feel bad because we're crashing his holiday. Let me just ask you one question, Pete, and then I'll let you shoot off because I know you're busy and it's loud where you are. Who do you want to replace him now, Pete?
Yeah, sorry, I just unmuted it. It's a difficult situation. Like, the one thing I'll say, like the big elephant in the room is obviously Eddie Howe. I don't know if anyone's seen the interview with Darren Eales today from Newcastle United. He was very bullish in his words in terms of Eddie Howe. You know, he's going to stay at this club. They're going to fight for him to stay at this club. For me personally, I think Eddie Howe's a non-factor. I don't think he thinks about leaving for England. The reason being is because I think he's young enough. I think he's 46, 47. I think there's another cycle of manager before I think he takes the role. And that's not me being biased because he's a Newcastle manager. That's just because I do think, as one of the best English managers around right now, I think there's another cycle for him in order to take the role after he leaves Newcastle United. I don't see him in charge for Newcastle for another 10 years. I do think he will be a manager of England at some form, but not right now. For me, the obvious one is Graham Potter. And whether he's the right choice or not, I don't know. I haven't got the answers to that. But the one thing I'll say to you is that I looked at the situation when he was odds on to get the Leicester job, and then all of a sudden it just kind of went sideways and Cooper got the job. And I thought, why would he turn down that job when he wasn't really getting offers anywhere? And it just made me think that he'd had some sort of word or something had been mentioned that potentially he could get the job, and maybe that's why he didn't accept the Leicester job, because he was holding out for maybe England. I think he's the natural go-to. He's a manager that's not tied to a club. He's ready to go, and he would potentially, and I think Billy will be happy about this, he's already shown at Brighton that he produces a style of football that I think a lot of England fans that weren't happy with Southgate, that maybe would be happy with what he would produce on the training field, on the pitch. And I think he would naturally be the go-to, because I do think this FA currently are after managers that are English primarily more than anything else. So I think I'm not even going to talk about any of the other managers that have been linked. I think Graham Potter is the one that I think will be the one that will take the role, in my opinion.
Interesting, man. I love that. And
Potter,
listen,
you're the one.
Potter, you're the one.
One way to go before we start singing about Potter, I'll tell you that much. One way to go.
Pete, you're a legend for coming on, man. I'm going to let you go enjoy your holiday, but thanks for jumping on the stream, man. And enjoy yourself, my bro. Enjoy yourself.
We'll do. Hey, Billy, I'm not happy with you, man. We're going to have words that come back. Seriously, man. Seriously, we're going to have words. I ain't happy with you, man. Like,
just enjoy your holiday. Go and have it. Celebrate. Go and celebrate, whether it's the memories or the fact that he's gone. Just enjoy.
Hey, it's up here, man. I ain't forgetting. Next season, man. I know we're not on the same channel, we're not on the same show, but hey, it's up here. I ain't forgetting. But all love. It's love. Love you, boys. Take care, man.
All the best. Enjoy.
Have a great holiday, my bro. Take care, man.
Take care, boys. Love it.
Legend, man. Legend. Listen, just quickly, Joe, I know you've got a couple of questions as well. I wanted to come to Tom quick. But Billy and D, first of all. D, you are a Palace fan. Billy, you are a Villa fan. And you dislike Gareth Southgate. This guy. And this guy.
Okay. If you want legend,
shots fired.
Hold up.
Let's go.
Like, what's your point?
Well,
no, go on, Joe. I saw it in the chat earlier.
Can I give you the point of it, bro? Right?
One quick.
Go on.
I'll add a point to help your point. In fact, he opened an academy, a new academy facilities as well. Just remember that as well. But go on.
No, I don't.
That helps your point as well. Like, he's connected to Palace like that, but I don't care.
No, and this is where it comes back to just having just a tiny speck of respect. Because look, I'm not. Listen, I'm not trying to like personally attack or anything, but you've had zero respect for him at all. Like you know this, like right, zero respect for the guy, and that's where it's a little bit disappointing because he's okay. He hasn't brought us success in some people's, but he's done a decent job. Let's say, yeah. He's done better than his predecessors, going all the way back. Yeah, Venables was great. You know, Bobby Robson. Sir Ralph Ramsey, these people, Glenn Hoddle for a time as well before he went batshit crazy. But you know, like he's done decent, and the level of disrespect is a bit like, whoa, that's a bit much. And then when you actually strip it back and you go, well, he was part of one of Villa's most successful periods, getting you into Europe, winning Carabao, was it? Was it the League Coca-Cola Cup or something at that point, right? And then also when you strip it back and say, well, he won the championship title while at Palace and was great at Palace as well. It's just a little bit like for me, a guy who's, okay, legend might be a strong word, but a guy who, was captain at my club or won things, I'm going to be sticking up for him, not being absolutely disrespectful to the man. And that's what I can't get my head around. Why? Like, Billy, you said today, you don't like him. You said, I don't like him, the man.
I strongly don't like him, yeah.
Why, though? What's he done to you?
It goes a lot deeper than just being... Like, this is something for me that's built up over several years. It's not just I just don't like the style of play in the past few tournaments kind of thing. It's a deeper thing of, when he came in, for example, and he said, I'm going to pick players on form, not reputation. Well, he's not stuck by his word, has he?
Yes.
Picking Maguire's, picking Calvin Phillips. The fact that he said this tournament that we don't have a natural Calvin Phillips replacement.
He was right to pick Calvin when he picked Calvin. What are you on about?
Not when he's getting 9 minutes a season at Man City.
Well, he didn't pick him then, though, did he?
But he has been.
Well, he was at Leeds United when he got England Player at Year. And he'd smashed it, so he hasn't gone to the tournament.
That's one thing. But when he was at Man City, he has been picked.
He picked him when he went to West Ham. Didn't
there are other players that have not been performing for their clubs and getting picked, and it's a build up of several things that, to be honest with you, I don't have off the top of my head right now.
No, but if you dislike a man that much, you should be able to give me something.
So I got my point. For me,
you shouldn't be able to. I can't think of things. You told me you dislike the man. If anything, I think the majority of the country would all agree. Actually, he's a nice bloke. Just shit manager.
Yeah, he probably is. He probably is a really nice bloke. But for me, it's like I say. There's several things that have happened over time, and.
But you don't know. But you can't name them.
I've just got that feeling.
You're sure of shit, Billy, because you can't name them, bro.
No, Joe, you can't tell me what I can and can't feel.
Right, so tell me then why you dislike him.
I'm trying to.
Right, go on then. I'll shut up.
Sometimes you just get a feeling about someone.
Okay.
And I just don't like it. I just don't like him. I can't explain it, other than I know that there's several things. And there is. Look, you can't tell me how I feel.
Well, there is. You've just said there is. What are they?
So you don't like, you don't like the players he picks. You don't like the favourites he has. You don't like the times that he's picked players over others that deserve it. He doesn't go by players on form. That's what I think you're saying. But I don't know if you are. Are saying that.
Exactly. And there's several things as well that
he doesn't like water. That was the best one. He likes water. You said
it is his favourite drink. That doesn't make sense to anyone. That doesn't make sense. Full stop. That doesn't make sense. Your favourite drink being water.
What's wrong with water? My favourite drink is water.
Look, I'm drinking it now, but it's not it's not my favourite drink.
No, water. That's I don't know about that.
Let me bring Tom in, man. Like you've heard Pete come.
I'm enjoying this, man. Just in this all.
Yeah, it's me and you have been sitting and chilling. It's not normal. Me and Tom are normally the ones going at it. It's quite a nice change. But you've heard Pete's points. You've heard Joe's points. I know your points, Tom, and I'm with you on this one. I'm actually with you. I think you and I perhaps see things a little bit more balanced than both Dee and Billy, who have just completely had enough of Southgate and don't rate him. I don't think you and I rate him, but I think at the same time, we can appreciate, yes, fair play. He's got us to where he's got us, but he hasn't got us across the line. And I just wanted to pick up some of the points that Joe has made as to the reasons why. I actually quite like Southgate, the man. I understand there's not a lot of people that do, and Billy's saying he just doesn't get a good feel about him. Dee doesn't like him, and I'm going to bring him in.
I'm going to explain my reason.
Yeah, and I'm going to let you explain it 100%, or 100%, right? But for me, I like the man. I think he handles the media really well. I think he does come across as a really nice guy. I think he actually has man management. You can see those lads coming off there. They're all hugging him. He's going around to every single one of them. None of them are like, yeah, this is on you, rolling their eyes, get off me, mate. None of that stuff's happening. I'm not saying that does happen in football, but you get my point. So those things I actually think with Joe. I think, yeah, fair play. But I don't really care about all that. I care about doing that. And he hasn't been able to do that. So I think there is the next thing. And people go, well, who'd you get there? And who do you think is going to go and get that? No idea. But you can't just stick with one manager because somebody else might not win it. You've got to take that risk to try and get somebody else. So that's where I'm at with it, Tom. I don't know what your thoughts are, bro.
Yeah, and I empathise with that point of view a lot. I think the point of view that Joe has of, we have to respect what he's achieved. I think that's fair. I think you do have to respect where we've got to. My issue is that I think that he's just a okay manager, and I don't know if it's too harsh to say, but I do feel like anybody who we would have appointed at the stage we pointed Southgate would have probably got as far as that England team got. And that's why I say, obviously, we got to where we got rather in spite of it, because I feel like the style of play, the decision making of Southgate, we achieved what we got to achieve in terms of getting to where we got in those tournaments, despite all of those things, rather than because of those things. I don't necessarily think it's luck that we got where we got, because there was, as you pointed out, Dan, you can see what he's trying to do. There is a philosophy. It's just, for me, not the best philosophy for the players that he's got at his disposal. Like, there are reasons why, he wanted to contain the best footballing side in the tournament on Sunday evening, because they are the best footballing side in the tournament. But when you've got the players that he's got, you don't need to do that. And what I think a better manager would have done is recognise that, Spain are really good on the ball. So why don't we do what actually we have done quite well this tournament and keep it as much as we can? Take the ball away from Spain, and they aren't as, nowhere near as effective. You've got your Rodri in there, but other than that, it's a lot of players that are doing stuff on the ball. Your Fabian, your Olmos, your Mals, your Williamses, etc. So take the ball away from them and play your game, and ignore the fact that who you're going up against, and actually have that kind of aura that even Man City do, and to a degree Arsenal do at times as well, where you don't even think about who you're playing against. It's just how good you are as a team, and you go out and play your best football and play your best game. And I don't think we ever did that enough. I think that against teams, when we went a goal up, obviously we were just so passive at times, when we should have really taken the other team to the sword. And I think that the people I've seen a few comments in the chat box while I've been watching you guys listen, and I understand when people are saying like, if it all goes tits up now after we've got rid of Southgate, you'll all be wishing Southgate, so etc. It's like, that's not what it's about, because I don't see a situation where Southgate does get us over the line, and so the decision to change this now is the right one, because whether or not the next manager does get knocked out in the group stage is irrelevant to the decision to move on from Southgate, because the decision to move on is the right one right now. And as we are all pretty darn scared of, the people that are in charge of picking the next person, it's not like we're making the decisions. We are hoping that a change happens because we think a change is the right thing to happen for this England team. And so I'm hopeful that we get a coach that, you can talk about your Kaza, you can talk about your Howes and your Potters. I'm not one of those people that thinks the England manager has to be English. That is predicated on the fact that English managers through history have not been particularly great. And I'm selfish as an England supporter, and I want us to win. And so, while you are restricted to having, obviously, English players for the England team, surprise, surprise, Michael Owen comment there. But I think that, you're not restricted in the nationality of the manager that you have. Just look at the women's team with Serena Weigman, go off and win Euros as well.
Just on that though, Tom, and again, someone can fact check me on it. I'm not sure many managers win that are not from their nation. Argentina, Spain, France, Germany, all the last major tournament winners are all from their nation.
Because most of those other nations have a history of having really good coaches, so they don't necessarily need to go out of their nation to get one. And I would say that for those that do care, you won't if we win it. If we're lifting a World Cup, if we're lifting a Euros, you won't care if they're Italian, French, whatever. You won't care who the manager is or where they're from, because we would have won it. So I think you're right to point that out with the trend. But again, I think it's because those nations have typically had some very, very good managers.
And do you know what, Tom? When people say to me, it won't matter what our style is if we win it, you're absolutely right. But if you want to play that style, go get Conte, Mourinho, or Simeone that actually have got a winning CV that play it and win with it. Because at the moment, we're just playing rubbish football and not getting across the line with it. It's kind of like the worst scenario. So if you want to go play that style and go, we don't care. You've got to go and get a manager that plays that style and gets us across the line, in my opinion. So I don't know that we'll do that next. I think we're going to go and get another English guy. I hope it ain't Frank Lampard, if I'm honest with you. But if it is, so be it.
Or Gerrard.
Or Gerrard. Yeah, I don't want no. Billy will know that. He's not the best. But D, I'll let you come in because I know that you've not had a chance to answer your questions about why you don't like the man. So come on, talk to me.
It's not. Okay, cool. It might sound a bit weird, but simply put, I think he overextended the stay. And the reason why I didn't like it, I just felt like he became a media puppet, and it was very annoying to see these group of England players and the media kind of getting a pass with Southgate because he just was a nice bloke. Like, he's a very nice guy, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like the media kind of, the perspective of Southgate was, oh, he's a nice guy. Oh, look, England's reached the final, etc. Rather than looking at the context, rather than looking at the plays that England have, I'm not really talking about the failures. For me, I don't think the media were balanced with the way that they spoke about Southgate. I just feel like there were, Southgate and the media were like one couple, and Southgate basically opened up the doors for the media to the players, etc. And I think they liked that. So I feel like there was that bias there. And as the tournaments went on, and England still haven't won anything, it was just frustrating to see people still talk about Southgate reaching the finals and doing all of this, whereas they didn't put the context there. They didn't put the context of even the last Euros against Italy, England's draw. England was on an easier side, and and then as soon as when it comes to the big game, England lose once again due to Southgate. Even in this one, England's on an easier draw. As soon as it comes to the final, England lose once again. Like, I just feel like he was always protected by the media. It was kind of different, in my opinion, because previous England managers haven't had this. But it was kind of frustrating. It's like, just open your eyes. As people became more stubborn supporting Southgate, I felt like I leant more towards the other side of being against him, because I just felt like people were being stubborn and not seeing things as they were because of England just reaching final or England reaching the semis, etc., rather than looking at the context. I think that is realistically what got me annoyed about Southgate.
I get that. And I personally felt like he handled the media pretty well. I understand what you mean in terms of being the media puppet. I think the FA, he is absolutely perfect for what the FA want. Gareth Southgate is, the perfect manager for what the FA want, in my opinion. And that's why Joe might be right. We might go for Carsley. And that's where I want to close. I want you to tell me who you want next. And I want you to give me the person you would like and the person that you think is probably going to get it in terms of the most realistic. So, Joe, I'll start with you.
I would love Pep, of course. I think any of us would love Pep. I think that'd be amazing. Why not? He said he's going to leave City, but fuck it, give it Potter. Although I wouldn't be adverse to Carsley, if I'm honest, but give it Potter.
Okay, I think that's fair. D?
I'm not going to even mention Pep because I don't think that's realistic. For me, anyways, at this current moment of time. I think out of all the names mentioned, I think realistically, Potter, probably, because of his experience as well at first team level, and he knows some of these players as well, so probably Potter. Okay, Billy?
I'd say the same. Obviously, Klopp and Pep are the ultimate dream, but I don't see it very likely at all. Potter's the one that I'd go for, and the one that's obviously available. I'd also love Eddie Howe, but I don't think that will happen. Obviously, with what he's doing at Newcastle.
Yeah, I think you're fair. Tom, what you saying, bro?
Yeah, I think the worst thing about Southgate's leaving is that it comes at a time where there just simply is not a glut of obvious candidates to come in. I agree with Joe. I'd absolutely love Pep Guardiola, and I would take the interim coach for a year until he's finished to get him in. If it means promoting Carsley for a year on, a short-term contract and saying, this is something of an audition, say you get England playing great football, great, maybe then we'll consider it. But understand that, there is a view that there could be another manager coming in a year's time. I'd be open to that idea. But otherwise, the obvious candidates are Howe and Potter. I hope we don't go anywhere near Lampard and Gerrard, as options. I really don't. There is another funny one, and I know he's only just taken over at Fenerbahce, but I would have thought it'd be hilarious to see Jose Mourinho becoming the manager.
I said this.
Yeah. I never would have wanted to see it at Arsenal ever because I just don't think it's a match at all. But, considering how far England have got in tournaments playing that style, and obviously Mourinho is a much more tactically astute coach at getting those types of results with those types of players, I think that would have been very interesting to see how that would have played out. But that there just simply isn't the really obvious candidates to go and get.
No, there isn't. Mourinho, to be fair, would be
Mourinho's done though. As a I support Fenerbahce as well.
And you know what?
And he's not. Yeah, he won't be leaving Fenerbahce.
No, of course not. No.
Yeah, no, and Mourinho's always been one that I looked at and just assumed it would one day happen because of how popular he is over in England with everybody, it seems, other than Arsenal. But I think as a manager of England, I would have been absolutely cool with it because if you're going to play that style, you need someone to get you across the line, and he's the one that does that, right? Carlo Ancelotti, of course, would be a dream. Pep Guardiola would be a dream. Jurgen Klopp, to be fair, available would be a dream. If we're going with English managers, I kind of would want one of two. One would be Eddie Howe. I don't know that he would leave Newcastle. I looked at the interview today and he said that he was quite happy at Newcastle. He loves the day-to-day side of the coaching role and the management role. The other one no one's mentioned is Gary O'Neill. I think he's been fantastic at Wolves. I really do. And at Bournemouth, to be fair to him. And that wouldn't be a bad shout if we're looking at English managers personally. Oh, Tom's just put that in.
Literally, as you said it, I wrote it in the chat. Yeah, yeah, he's the one I completely forgot. I completely forgot about Gary O'Neill, and I'd 100% offer him the job right now.
Yeah, so would I.
I rate him that highly. I do think.
Personally, I prefer Potter to O'Neill.
Interesting.
Why is that?
I'm just not a fan of.
You just don't like him, and you can't explain why.
No, he's got for Gary O'Neill. He's just got too much of a. I feel like he's too much of a moaner, and he's more. He blames.
Is it because he's the Wolves? Is it because he's the Wolves?
Not at all. Not at all. Which is probably how it will come across, but I don't care. It's not about that at all. He comes across as someone who will blame VAR for. And Wolves have done it a lot, to be fair. Who will blame VAR for
Villa bias
over actually playing well and getting the result. I'm a firm believer of you can't blame one VAR decision on the outcome of a result. And I feel like Gary O'Neill is that kind of man and manager because he's done it several times at Wolves already.
Listen,
personally, I'd love Potter. I really would. I think he'd be. Okay. I think he'd do really well. And like we mentioned, he's already shown it in the Premier League how good he is tactically. And I think with the kinds of players that we've got now, who are alert to tactics and want to know what they're doing, I think he'd be perfect. And I think he would be able to get us over the line.
More than a name, just quickly. More than a name. I want a manager to come there and be brave and not be Mr. Nice Guy. Yeah. I want a manager to come there and say, to Bellingham that you might not play down the left. There might be a better option there. I want a manager to, who is not scared of upsetting a few players for the greater good of the team. Because I feel like that's what Southgate's downfall was. He was too much of a nice guy. And that's
a lot of people are saying Sean Dyche football.
I'm not Sean Dyche. That's scary. That's too scary. I'm talking.
That's Allardyce again. That's what that is.
Yeah, Tuchel's being mentioned though. Apparently, Thomas Tuchel wants the job. That's what I'm hearing. And
I'd give him it, by the way. I would give him it.
Yeah, I would. Yeah,
I would
Thomas
give him
Tuchel. That for me, that is a good shout. He's got a CV.
The names that were mentioned earlier was Howe, Potter, Pochettino, and Tuchel, and everyone was saying we need a manager that's a win. Well, he's the only. If anyone wants a manager, he's got the CV. He's won cup competitions. I would give him Tuchel. Yeah, definitely.
I'm with you, Joe, and I said that with LB earlier on the terrace. I'm exactly the same with you. All the ones listed, he was the one that maybe go. Do you know what? Fair play. He's got the CV. The other guys. They ain't. I liked what Potter's done, to be fair. Östersund's where he's come from. Swansea, then, of course, Brighton. Chelsea, it all went wrong, but that's a poison chalice for me at the moment.
Don't forget he started at Leeds Carnegie.
Oh, well, there we go. I didn't know that. You learn something new every day.
So you should back him then. Club
of course. Yeah, no, Leeds Carnegie is a unit. But to be honest, you think you've done something there, but I was just about to say, because I'll back him because he has affinity with my club. You know what I mean? Not like you. Turncoat, mate. Do you know what? I'm going to give you a history lesson here as well, Billy. Right, I've been saving this for you. Do you know the real reason why you should dislike him?
Go on.
Because he put in a transfer request and said, in order for me to achieve my career aims, it is time for me to move on from Aston Villa. That's why you should hate him. But
that's a real Southgate. We didn't know. He was
one of many reasons. One of many reasons.
But you didn't know that though, did you? So you don't even know. So that's what I said. So next time you can say it's because
I was aware of that.
So why didn't you use it?
I forgot about it in the time.
Are you sure, Billy? I don't know. I would have used that card. I don't know if you forgot about it. I don't know.
That would have been your go-to. That would have been my go-to.
He's one of the reasons I'm convinced that Grealish left as well.
What, Grealish left Villa because of Southgate?
I think it's one reason.
Why?
To establish him as more.
No, it's because Man City put 100 million and that was his release clause. So that's why, bro.
Again, one of the reasons.
Hey, Jack, what should I do, Gareth? He went, leave, mate. Oh, that's Codswallop, man. He's left.
If Grealish, if Southgate and Grealish had that connection,
one of the reasons. It wasn't.
Okay. Calvin Phillips got picked as a championship midfielder for England. Don't buy it.
Fair enough.
That's argument done in it with that silence.
Right, listen, we got to wrap up, man. Legends, all of you guys are legends for coming on.
He's gone.
All of you. He's gone.
You've lost. You've lost.
Just won.
You've lost.
I've won. He's gone. He's gone. What's he won? Nothing. What have I won? He's fucked off.
No, we have the biggest winner is Ben White, and that's all.
Yeah, I'm glad about this, by the way. Yeah,
Ben White,
definitely.
Ben White, honestly, real talk, man. Ben White sat there like, yeah, I ain't gonna bother. This manager don't know what he's doing. I'll wait for a proper manager to come along. I hope that's what it is anyway. Because if a new manager comes in and he goes, nah, I don't want to play for England, then everyone's like,
oh, then I'd have some questions. Yeah, that's fair enough.
Then I would really have some questions like, what's happening here? Listen, absolute legends, all of you people. Tom, I have to say, man, one, it's been a pleasure having you, and two, big up to what you do, man, because I'm doing these morning shows at the moment and it's not easy, and I do them later than you. So how you do them every day at 8 a.m, man, big up to you, my bro, and you're absolutely smashing it as ever, man. How can people follow you, bro?
Yeah, you can find me at the Goon Talk, as you say, every morning at 8 a.m, so you can watch me before you watch Dan. And it's obviously Arsenal specific stuff, but it's always great. And then you can find my written stuff over at football.london.
Absolutely, man. Make sure you go Football London, and make sure you also go to the Gooner Talk TV, which I think most of you here are subscribed to. But if you're not, then please make sure that you do. Likewise, make sure you go follow Billy at Total Screamers Podcast and AV Billy on all socials. Make sure you go and follow at D Palace, not at Sad Southgate Fan, at D Palace and Back in the Nest Podcast for all Palace content. And Just Joe, please stay tuned because you're going to head over to Joe right now, who is going to be doing a live show. So big up to all of you for coming on. I will see you bright and early at 8:30 in the morning. Until then, take it easy and up the Arsenal. Latest, people.